Welcome to Retiring Well, and thank you for joining us today. We've put together what we feel is a great show for you, whether you're early in retirement, thinking of retirement, or maybe you've been retired for 20 years. Stay with us here, and we got some great educational topics coming up right now. First, we're going to be talking about income strategies for retirement. Potentially, you might need this savings you've worked hard for all these years to live off of and produce that lifestyle. What are some strategies that we can use to make those paychecks start coming to you from your investments? Then we're going to learn about Roth IRAs, but specifically the 5-year rule. What is that? Will it affect you? And what are some ways to start thinking about that for the future? Then Social Security, one of the most talked about topics. But this particular thing, we're going to be talking about the reasons to consider taking it early at the age of 62. All these different concepts and models out there, but specifically diving into taking it early. And to wrap up the show, we're going to be talking about financial advisors, fees and costs and associated with that. What are some of the things to look at? What are some of the benefits you should be getting for those services? And again, what costs are out there, and hopefully they're being transparent with you so you have an idea what that is. We're excited to bring this show to you, and thank you again for joining us. Stay tuned, grab a pen and paper, and you might want to take some notes this week. We hope that you find it very valuable and enjoyable.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well. Plan to retire well.
Let's talk a little bit about income strategies for retirement. A major fear for retirees is running out of money too soon. I've heard it said by a few individuals, well, my goal is to bounce the check to the funeral home. I don't know if that's where you are, but you might want to leave a little money behind for family, possibly, but that's a risk that some may be willing to take. But retirement, I think of it this way, can be like 20 to 30 years of unemployment. And so how do you want to solve for this income? I'll walk you through a number of different things that you should be considering when building your retirement income plan. Starting off with just simply looking at your retirement income needs. What are you spending money on, and what does that look like from a regular monthly perspective, but then take into consideration what are some of those other areas such as travel and what comes into replacing the roof on the house and those other expenses. So what's your shortfall? So try and plan for that shortfall. Second thing, maybe simply talking to a professional. You're retiring. This is hopefully the one time that you're going to be retiring. Maybe it's an opportunity to sit down with someone or a team of advisors that have been through this process before, for hopefully hundreds of other families that are retiring, and how they could help you essentially plan to retire well. Number 3, consider an annuity. Perhaps you want to look to insurance companies to see, okay, how could I structure some type of known income source. So there's a lot of different types of annuities out there, and again, that can get very confusing. So I would encourage you to speak to a qualified professional that can help define what those are and how they may or may not fit into your overall plan. Another area is leverage higher interest rates. So we find ourselves in an environment right now where interest rates have risen, and so you're seeing that within the banking world, within the government, different treasury bonds and whatnot. You're seeing it within insurance companies with different fixed annuity rates. So these rates have come up, so that's become a little bit more attractive for sort of your lower risk types of money. What about considering dividend-paying stocks? This is where the yield may fluctuate, but you're going to want to try and find different companies that have been around a long time, have a known history of paying a strong dividend to their investors, and you're going to see, though, that the share value or stock value is going to fluctuate up and down. So that's something that you would want to be cautious of or be aware of before going into that type of structure. Another that probably doesn't come up as very often, but is a reverse mortgage. This is where if you get in a situation where you're later in life and maybe you've spent down some of the other assets, but you have your house completely paid for, this is where you could have the option to stay in your home, where you don't have to sell it and realize that equity, but you could stay in the home and ultimately generate some additional income or cash flow through a reverse mortgage. Again, one of those areas you'd want to talk to a qualified professional. Number 7, maximize Social Security. You can begin anywhere between the ages of 62 to 70. Obviously, the longer you wait, the higher that benefit will be. And number 8, manage your expenses. Be realistic with what your expenses look like in retirement. It's not just going to come down to those normal fixed costs. I know a lot of times I talk to folks that come in and, well, we only have, our utility bill and our property tax, those are our only expenses. Well, what about food and gas, and do you like to travel on occasion, or do you have some of those bigger ticket items that you want? So that's where, if you're looking at buying an RV or a boat or a second home or condo or something like that, take that into consideration. And always don't forget to factor in inflation into your retirement income plan. That's so vital. You need to capture some growth on the portfolio to try and keep up with inflation. And so again, if you're in a position where you're questioning, okay, what do I do next? I encourage you to check out our YouTube channel, where you can like and subscribe and share information there and get a lot of valuable tips on how you can plan to retire well.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
We're just thrilled that we had another great day. We really have good luck when it comes to weather, and we have extremely good luck when it comes to support from the community. Centennial Wealth just has been a solid supporter right from the get-go, and we can't thank you enough for all that you've done for us, and we speak on behalf of the vets.
Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure working with everybody here at Lock and Heath. They provide a great venue for us, and we get a lot of support because of Lock and Heath.
Thankful to be out here with Veterans in Crisis. We've been supporting them for a number of years, and beautiful day for a golf outing. They do so much for the Northern Michigan veteran community, and Centennial Wealth Advisory is just proud to partner with them once again.
Hey, we're out here on a beautiful day at the Veterans in Crisis Annual Golf Memorial. You know, here at Centennial, we love to support our veterans. They led the way to give us the freedom that we have, and we're forever indebted to them. This is an awesome opportunity to help sponsor a program that helps our veterans all across Northern Michigan. So we have a beautiful day, and are going to have a great time golfing.
We talk a lot on the show here about Roth IRAs. You've probably heard us over the years mention this countless times and talking about how the benefits of these and all the various things that are out there. Today I want to take a couple minutes and talk about maybe one of the things that could catch you, or maybe is an unknown piece that we want to be aware of when we're talking about Roth IRAs, either through contributions or conversions. So with Roth IRAs, there's something out there called the 5-year rule, meaning that as you make a contribution, we'll talk about first, then we'll get to conversions, but as you make a contribution to a Roth IRA, there's a 5-year waiting period before you can truly get the tax-free distribution on the back end. And they look at this as a tax year. So what does that mean? So if I make a contribution to my 2023 Roth IRA, and that's the first time I've ever opened that account, and it's the first contribution I've ever made, I now have a 5-year period that I need to wait before I can get all of my money back and the interest it's made without taxation. Now, again, the important piece is they look at it too from a tax year. So let's say we make a contribution in April of 2024, but I do it for my previous year. I haven't filed my tax return yet, and I put my Roth contribution in from my 2023 tax year, even though I'm writing the check, let's say on April 15th of 2024. Well, you get the benefit of basically starting January 1st of 2023. So that's when your clock starts. Now you have 5 years from that January 1st, 2023 timeframe, 5 years from there to get that benefit. Well, what if you can't wait 5 years? What if you need to get in there? Well, if you can, try to get in and take the contribution money out, because that's kind of like a return of your own money. It's just the earnings that would be subject to any taxation and such during that timeline of that first 5 years. Again, other things have to apply as well. Remember, these are retirement accounts with 59.5, so there's not early distribution penalties and such like that. So a few other things that we have to be careful of, but specifically talking about that 5-year rule. So again, this is pertaining to the first contribution you make in the first Roth IRA you have. Once you make that first IRA contribution, that clock is running, and then future contributions, you don't necessarily have to wait that 5 years. Once you've started that clock, fulfilled those 5 years, you can make contributions all along there. They're looking back to that first one. Conversions are treated a little bit different. So 5-year rule on Roth conversions, meaning I'm taking a pre-tax or traditional IRA, paying the taxes and converting it to a Roth IRA conversion. So they're looked at on a conversion by conversion basis. So let's say I do a $20,000 Roth conversion in 2023. I need to wait right now 5 years till 2028 to get my full tax benefits for that particular one. Let's say I do another $20,000 conversion in 2024. Well, now I need to wait till 2029 to get the benefits of that one. So for tax planning purposes, and for if you're considering doing some of this, or if you're trying to do it yourself, just be aware of the timing for that. Why is it important for you? Again, when do you might need the money? When we look at these, usually the benefits, there can be some great benefits to Roth conversions. There can be some great benefits to Roth contributions. Again, depending on your specific tax circumstance, but again, we also have to look at the timing of these and when you may need the money. Now, sometimes life events happen and the money is needed in advance, and then we need to start looking at can we extract some of this money on a very specific basis and not pay any taxes or penalties, again, through looking at the basis of that and such like that. So Roth IRAs can be a wonderful tool, but like many things, pay attention to the details and some of the things that are out there so it doesn't trip you up and cause a problem down the road and have any unnecessary taxation you weren't planning on doing. If this is something you'd like to talk greater about, get into more details, or see how Roth conversions or contributions could benefit you, give us a call at the number on the screen for no cost, no obligation, and visit with one of our team members here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. Until then, keep watching our show. We greatly appreciate the time you spend in this. Check out our YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe to that so you can get future notifications of new shows and new content that we put out continuously, trying to make sure that we keep our community educated about retirement planning so you can plan to retire well. Retirement, something you've likely dreamed about for many years. Maybe you're approaching it here very soon or just recently retired. This is just for you then. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we've created a retirement roadmap. Retirement is filled with many choices. What are you going to do with the grandkids? What trips you're going to go on? But first, we need to map out what this plan looks like. Where is the income going to come from? What investments is going to match up to produce that income? How are taxes going to look, and is there something that can be done to improve the situation today and for years down the road? Estate planning. What happens when you're gone and you're not here? What would you like to see happen with your assets and your estate and all of your loved ones that are left behind? Healthcare. You know, all the different options that exist out there and how different levels of income may dictate how much you're paying for your healthcare. Putting all those things together in a roadmap is a vital thing to retirement success. And not only that, but the confidence that you can go into that knowing you have a plan in place that allows you to enact all these dreams that you've had over the years. Simply go to our website at cen-wealth.com, and there's an area to click on to sign up for this retirement roadmap. You'll get instant download and can watch it right away. And the beautiful thing is it asks just a couple questions and it hones in it and customizes it just for you and your particular situation. We hope that this video provides great value for you and again, gives you the confidence heading into your retirement so you can plan to retire well.
When to take Social Security is probably the number one, if not the number one question that we get asked here at Centennial Wealth. And it's a huge thing to determine, okay, when should I take it, right? And I so wish there was some magical formula that I could put into place that would spit out the exact age that you need to take Social Security. But unfortunately, there just isn't, okay? It is a personal decision based on a whole bunch of different factors. You know, typically how it works here with current clients is, you know, we'll crunch the numbers. We'll sit down, we'll go over, okay, what does it look like if you were to take Social Security at age 62 versus waiting until age 65 and then full retirement age at 67, or maybe even waiting until age 70. And you know, what we found is the typical break-even point is somewhere between the ages of 79 to 81. So what does that mean? Well, if you think you're going to live a long life after the age of 80 or so, it's in your best interest to wait as long as possible before you take Social Security. Now, the one caveat to that is, well, no one knows how long they're going to live, right? So that's why it makes it such a personal decision. And there are a bunch of different reasons why you should take it at age 62. So that's what I'd like to go over with you today. So the first big reason that you should consider taking Social Security at age 62 is if you're not healthy. Okay, this is a great reason to start it right away as soon as you get it, because if you don't think you're going to live a long life, you're going to be leaving money on the table, right? If you delay your Social Security for 5 years, let's say your Social Security at age 62 is going to be $1,000 a month, but then you wait until age 65 and you would get $1,500 a month. So that's what? A $500 a month difference, okay? Now, would it be worth it to delay that out until age 65 if you're not healthy? What if you don't make it much past age 65? Then you've given up 3 years of taking that Social Security to gain not much if you pass away early. So that's why, you know, if you're not healthy, you probably want to take Social Security as soon as possible at age 62. Another reason to take Social Security at age 62 is if it fits into your retirement plan. Okay, if you've crunched the numbers, if you've determined, hey, I can retire at age 62 because I have pension, I have Social Security that I can count on, and the withdrawals to meet up the income gaps from your portfolio is not going to be outrageous and you can make that work, then by all means, you can take it at age 62. I know a lot of different people are pushing, saying, hey, you need to wait as long as possible. But if it works into your plan that you can take it at 62, by all means, it's a personal decision, and you can take it, right? Another option, or another reason why you should consider taking Social Security at age 62 is for the spousal benefits. And this is a big one. We do this quite a bit here at Centennial Wealth. We go over these different options. And the big one is making sure that your spouse is protected. Now, reason I say that is because typically you've got one spouse that is going to have a higher Social Security benefit, and then the other spouse is going to have a little bit lower Social Security benefit. Typically, in this scenario, it's going to be in your best interest to have the spouse that has the lower Social Security benefit start Social Security right at 62, and then the spouse with the higher Social Security benefit, you can delay that for as long as possible. The big benefit for this is, if one of you were to pass away, the surviving spouse gets the higher of the two Social Security benefits. So that's a big factor when selecting when to decide to take Social Security. Another thing to consider in that is, if you both delayed Social Security for a number of years, that means that you both have to live a relatively long life to recoup what you've given up by delaying Social Security. So if you're married and you have two Social Securities and one's higher than the other, it's often in your best interest to start one early at age 62. All right, if you have any questions about Social Security, or you want to crunch those numbers and see what might make the most sense for your situation, please don't hesitate to give us a call.
As you are planning for retirement, where's your journey taking you? Do you know where you are going? How are you going to get there? And what's the best route to take? Do you have a personal retirement roadmap? At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, and we have designed a complimentary retirement roadmap video series that can be customized based on your personal circumstance and preferences. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com/roadmap and provide us with some basic information that will guide you to your on-demand, customized retirement roadmap video. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
Welcome to this exciting segment on financial advisors, fees, and costs. One of the best things that you might be able to do on a return on your investment is to figure out how your financial advisor gets paid. If you're sitting there saying, I have no idea how much my financial or how my financial advisor gets paid, you are not alone. Over 60% of respondents have no idea. Congress, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and other regulatory agencies have tried to make investing more consumer friendly. They run into a lot of roadblocks because there's a lot of different ways that financial advisors can get paid. So let's dive into the compensation structures. The first one that you might see is what's called fee only. This is when registered investment advisors give advice on how you might want to allocate your investments. We call this assets under management. And typically there's a 1% fee. Now that fee can range. Sometimes it's a little bit more on smaller accounts and sometimes it's a little bit less on bigger accounts. But either way, the fee that you're paying has to be disclosed on Form ADV Part 2A. They have to tell you what they're charging you. It will define what benefits you need to receive in return. The next way that you might see financial advisors get compensated is through what is called a commission. So basically here, they're going to be researching different products and they'll be giving you advice on which product you might want. These could be insurance companies that they might be offering to you, or they might be mutual fund companies. In return, those insurance companies or mutual fund companies will pay the advisor a commission. When they sell you a commission, when they sell you a product or a mutual fund, they have to provide an illustration or a prospectus, and inside those fees and the costs are going to be disclosed. The next one that you might look at is what's called a hybrid plan. These are financial advisors that are going to utilize both sides of the fee-only approach and the commission approach. What they're doing is they're trying to give you the widest range of investment options and tools that you can use in your arsenal to try to help achieve what you're trying to achieve as you prepare for or go into retirement. So on part of the portfolio, they might have an asset under management fee. On the other part, they might have get paid through a commission. The next one is you might see a flat fee. These are financial advisors that are going to help you plan bigger life events. Let's say that you're preparing for a wedding, or you want to sell a business, or you want to figure out how to go to college and prepare for that. They give you a plan, they charge you a flat fee, and then you go institute that plan. The next thing that you might see are what are called wrapped fees. These are very common in employer-sponsored plans or 401ks, and they're similar to that commission-based approach. The next thing that we have to classify is the difference between financial advisor fees and investment costs. Okay, so I recently ran across an example where the advisor fee was 1%, very typical. Now, on the other side, though, it's the cost of the investments that you might equate to expense ratios. And as we dove into that product that they were sold, they had an expense ratio of over 2%. So when we were sitting there, we said, okay, let's look at your total costs. 1% advisory, 2% expense ratio, your total cost is about 3%. Those are the kind of numbers that you're going to want to ask about, because when you like to know that. The next thing that you might run across are what are called non-human advice. These are those robo-advisors. A lot of times these are pegged towards younger clients, and they want some digital-only advice. Those can be very, very low cost, anywhere from 0.25 to 0.35%. The thing that I hope you take away from this is the importance of transparency. If you're sitting in front of your advisor and they ever start to get uncomfortable when they have to explain how they get compensated, to me that's a little bit of a red flag. There are a few questions that I think you should have no shame in asking. The first one, what is the total cost for me to do business with you? Fees, commissions, expense ratios. What kind of value am I going to get in return for doing business with you? The second thing would be, if your asset under management fee goes up when markets go up, what are you going to do if there's a sudden drop in the market? How are you going to respond to that? Thirdly, if it's a commission sale, is there any conflict of interest? Conflict of interest arise when advisors give clients options to buy products that might not be what's best for them. They have to decide what's best for the client or what's best for them. So are there any conflict of interest? And if so, how are we going to make sure that those get mitigated? If you have any questions about how you get paid, any of the compensation structures, we are very well versed and we are super transparent here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. So please feel free to give us a call to keep your learning going.